Okay, we're rolling. Here we go. Hi, my name is Richard Bell with the law firm Bell Alliance.
And I'm Ronan Reinart, also a lawyer here with Bell Alliance.
Ronan's our corporate solicitor, acts for a number of different companies. And what we thought would be really worthwhile to do in this video was to talk basically about someone being interested in starting a business and what sort of structure they might want to look at.
And it's a really important subject. You have to consider that I think the stat is something like 80% of the business activity in British Columbia is driven by small or medium-sized business. So there are a lot of family-owned businesses, sole proprietorships, or solely owned businesses that really are the backbone to our economy here. And it's a really, really important question of how you organize your business, because the way that you set it up in the beginning is going to determine whether or not, as you move forward, you're going to see successes or you're going to see potential failures.
So when you even start at that point, Ron, I always think, and I do a lot of real estate, I always think of build your team. So would the same sort of rule apply in terms of looking at setting up a business?
Absolutely, because at the beginning, right, you need information. Where are you going to get the information? Well, of course, there's the internet, a lot of information.
Yeah, videos, right?
Yeah. But you know, because each person's specific situation is going to be a little bit different, what you might hear about or read about as being appropriate for one person might not be appropriate for you. So, for example, there might be contexts, and we could talk about it in a second, the differences, between, say, a partnership and a corporation. There might be a really important reason for you to enter into a partnership so that you can offset sort of collective costs and losses against other projects.
So you probably need not only legal advice, but you need to be talking to an accountant, probably also in terms of some financial people, right? If you're going to be starting a business, it takes cash flow.
Absolutely.
And then I guess if you're looking at acquiring businesses, who are the commercial real estate brokers out there that can help you do some analysis around a business opportunity that's for sale?
Yep, there are a lot of real estate brokers that also work with businesses, often because real estate may transfer as part or be included in a transaction that also deals with a business.
So what are the basic structures that you can look at as you're setting up the business?
Good question. Well, the three obvious ones, or the three central structures, are one, sole proprietorships. Those are the most common ones. So the second anyone hangs a hat and says, here, I'm selling lemonade, we've got a sole proprietorship that immediately comes into play. So that's just a single person. The other option is a partnership, where two or more people come together with a view to profit, with a view to making a business work. And as soon as you have a partnership venture, you've got a partnership statute that applies. So a little thing to note there is, as soon as you get into business with somebody else, you do have a statute that governs, and if you don't know what's in that statute, you could be looking at some problems. And then, of course, the third most common form is the corporation. And here in British Columbia, we have one important form of corporation, which is the standard business corporation. And that is a separate legal entity that essentially goes out there and does your business, takes all the legal hits, it borrows the money, it owns the property, it deals with its thing. So it's a really good model, and it's by far the most common business model in Canada.
And I know we'll get into another session around this, but I'm sure there's some differences from a tax point of view that may drive the decision as to what sort of structure you select at the end of the day.
Absolutely. The tax planning is essential because, of course, one of the biggest advantages to a corporation is that you get that small business deduction, which is available to, I believe it's the first $450,000 of business income that a Canadian-controlled small business corporation makes. And that's taxed at a tremendously lower level. So in terms of business revenue and the money that's being paid over to Her Majesty at the end of the day, a corporate structure can be right off the top a good way to keep most of that money in the business.
So that's one of those great tax rates, so long as you don't need to take all the money out to pay your bills, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
A truly successful company gets to pay those low tax rate because the money's staying in the corporation.
Absolutely. But again, this is the importance of good professional advice, because you need to be talking to people about, well, is it appropriate for me to be taking out a dividend now? Should I wait until next month? Should I leave it in the business? Are there other ways for me to shuttle money around, maybe between companies and trusts and all this kind of fun stuff?
So what do you do? And I think this would, obviously sole proprietorship by definition, you're not worried about partners.
Nope.
You've then got partners and you've got corporations where you may have other shareholders or business partners in that corporation. So what sort of documentation is really important to be able to sort of have more than one party participate in that business?
Well, certainly if you're in a partnership, you want a good partnership agreement. because you're going to want to control and change how the statute applies to your relationship. I've never seen a business that just is satisfied with what's in the statute. And also, if you've got a corporation and you're dealing with other business shareholders, you're going to want a shareholder agreement, because if you don't govern what happens to your shares, there are tons and tons of things that we don't want to think about, that we want to pretend don't happen, but they do, unfortunately. People get, fall out of line with each other. People's lives take different turns. People have marital disputes and other property disputes and things.
So I guess that's the sort of document where you set out the what-if scenarios. If things go wrong, we'll look at this document again.
Yeah.
In the meantime, if we're all doing well, the business is successful.
You never look at it.
Never look at it.
But you can engage in business a little bit more comfortably, knowing that all of these issues are looked after, so that if anything does happen, you've got solutions right there.
Okay. Well, I think that's a great introduction, and we'll be providing more information in future videos. But again, if you've got any questions or comments, just let us know, and we can provide information either directly or again through this format. So thanks very much, Ronan. It's been great.
And thank you. We look forward to hearing from you.
We like to use our hands a lot.